There is nobody more important to the cycling business in Cleveland than my guest today, Doug Coulter. He's a great person, a pillar of the community, and anybody that knows him knows exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. Let's go. That's going to be a great show. That bike's a little lighter than mine, isn't it?
No. Yours is the lightest one.
It's the lightest one.
Yeah, that one's actually a used one.
Oh, is that a?
That's a Damani.
Is it got a? What's that thing right there? Oh, it's just. Yeah.
That's the decoupler to give it a comfortable ride.
Damani. That's what Alvin's got.
Yeah, one of his.
The green one.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Your dad, Scott, he was one heck of a guy, wasn't he?
I agree. Amazing. God threw away the mold when he made him.
I mean, nobody disputes that. Nobody. Would you say when he came here, what, about 78?
He came to Cleveland in 1978. He immigrated into the United States in 1963.
1963. From where?
He moved from, he was born and raised in Ireland. He actually moved to England and worked there for a few years, and then he and my mother moved to the States in 63.
So he was total Irish.
Oh, yeah.
Through and
Irish
through.
is Paddy's pig, he used to say. He was born and raised in Northern Ireland in a little village called Tempo. So on the far west side of Northern Ireland.
What was his parents like?
They were salt of the earth. His dad was a farmer. One day of education in his life, which Dad only had fourth grade education, which was normal in those days. But just God-fearing, honest people, just amazing
So he
folks.
got that from his parents.
Definitely, definitely. And all his siblings. There was 10 of the siblings. There was 7 boys and 3 girls.
Golly.
And all of them are just phenomenal people. Well, there's not many left now, but my cousins are the same way back there, just good folk.
Is there such a real thing as the luck of the Irish?
I think there is. I think there is, definitely. You know, you got the shamrocks and the leprechauns and all that stuff. There's got to be the luck of the Irish. with
Lucky
that.
Charms?
Lucky Charms?
I wonder where they get that luck of the Irish.
You know, I've never looked into the history of that one.
I mean, everybody knows that term.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So your dad, why did he come to the United States? What was his reason?
Well, what he told me was during World War II, he got to meet some of the Irish soldiers that were in that area. And the lookout buildings are still there. They're in shambles, but still there to this day. And as he met them, they were just the neatest people. And he decided that America was where he needed to go, that it was the land of promise. And so from a young age, he had decided he wanted to come to the USA at some point. And he left Ireland in 1955 at 20 years old and moved to England. And he worked for Vauxhall, which is it's part of General Motors, in quality control, took some engineering classes. He was incredibly good with math, just a very, very smart person. And then worked on getting his way into the U.S. And in 1963, he got all his paperwork in line and came into New York, LaGuardia, and the people that sponsored him lived in Connecticut. And so he moved into Connecticut and started his life in America there.
Now, why Cleveland, Tennessee?
Well, so
That's got to be interesting.
yeah. So what happened is we lived in Connecticut for a few years, actually moved back to the UK for a little while and then back to Connecticut. And in 1978, they had the blizzard of 78. We had 6 foot of snow with 9 foot drifts. And Dad said, I am done with this weather. I am done with this taxation. I'm out of here. So we had just had an addition put on our house in Connecticut in the little town we lived in. And so Dad's getting ready to go down to Orlando to find a place to open a bike shop and move his family, which it was 5 of his kids. This was no small feat, moving that big a family. And The guy who was doing the addition on our house said, you need to stop by Cleveland, Tennessee. It's as close to heaven as you can ever imagine. Well, Mom and Dad drive down I-95 to Orlando and check out, and he's scoping out places to put a bike shop and stuff. And they're heading back north, found some good places, and Mom's like, hey, we need to go through Cleveland and check it out. And so sure enough, they hit I-75. And when they got off the exit, it reminded Dad of Ireland with the rolling hills. And then he started talking to the people, and they reminded him of his people back home. Friendly, just wonderful folk. And so he decided rather than Orlando, it was time to move to Cleveland, Tennessee. And he went back home to Connecticut, sold everything out, and moved here and bought that piece of property that we opened the bike shop in 1978 right there on Georgetown Road.
Is that right? Right at that very spot?
Oh, yeah, yep. Yeah, he bought, it's so funny, where the Days Inn was the old Guthrie farmhouse, is my understanding, but it had an outhouse in the backyard, chickens running around the place. So it's amazing how it's changed and how it's grown since we moved here.
So you would have been what?
I was 13.
13.
Yeah. 13.
You remember the move?
I remember the move well. Remember it very well.
Where did you go to school?
So we actually went to Bowman Hill 7th Avenue School. So went there for 7th and 8th grade, and then went to Collegeville Academy.
Never to Cleveland or Bradley.
No. I went to Cleveland State Community College, took business classes and stuff there, but I never did go into any of the schools here.
Was your dad doing selling bikes in Connecticut?
He was, but of course back then bicycles were not like they were today. So he did lawnmowers, he did snow blowers, ice skates. You had to do a lot of different things in order to feed a family of our size.
I would have thought that would have been tough. So it was almost a small engine repair sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, half the business was small engine repair and half of it bicycles.
So it just ended up being when he came here, was it strictly bicycles?
No, actually, when we moved here, we did bicycles, we did wood-burning stoves. A lot of people in Cleveland have the wood-burning stoves that my father sold and we put in. We did kerosene heaters.
What was the name of those wood-burning stoves? Was that
Westland was the main brand that Dad sold. He did sell some of the, I'm trying to remember, Buck and a couple other brands, but Westland was the main one in the
Buck
end.
stoves?
Yeah, the Buck stoves.
That was a big thing.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people were utilizing those years ago, and there's nothing like wood heat in the house.
It's a different feel, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How did he make the change from, I'm not going to do this? You know, when you're in business and you're doing a couple of things, it's hard to decide to stop everything and go one route.
So as the bicycles built in business, Dad was hard to work for, because you had to work like an Irish farmer for him to be happy with your productivity. And so he never did real good at hiring many people. And so basically what happened is the bike business continued to grow, and as that took up more and more of his time, we slowed down on the wood-burning stoves and the kerosene heaters, and we were doing lawn boys. We sold lawn boy lawnmowers, and actually you'll see in that picture there, a picture of the green lawnmower. And we did Echo weed eaters and stuff like that.
So this would have been, can you get that, Glenn?
That would have been late 80s, probably 88, 89.
Yeah, I can tell by the belt. That was an 80s belt, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I know by
get that close, Glenn?
I know by the lawnmower, the year of the lawn boy, those were unique lawnmowers. So that's Dad on St. Patrick's Day. And he was very proud of his heritage. He was glad that he lived in America, but always proud to be an Irishman.
Well, he looks so much like David. It's spooky, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
if you told me that was David, I'd say, okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely, you can tell my brother looks a lot like Dad.
He looks eerie just like that.
Yep. Now, that's an old bike shop. So we were in that building from 1978. I bought the business from Dad in 2000 and 2001. And then I bought the building that we're in currently in 2002.
Now, you got, what, one brother and one sister?
So no, actually, there was originally five of us. There was four boys and one girl. So I'm the oldest, and then I got a brother, Dean, who's a physical therapist, and then David that works with me. And then there was twins, Michelle and Matthew. Matthew was killed in a car accident in '91 down by Cleveland Middle School, and before it was there. And my sister actually does all the books for me and helps us out. So Dad said he had to have four boys before he got his girl, but he definitely was very, very thankful for her. Well, we're all thankful for our sister. She's amazing.
Do you remember the day when you said, I'm going to quit selling anything other than bikes?
So actually, when I bought the business from him, I really started moving away from a lot of the other stuff. So I kind of pushed it a little bit harder.
So up until that time, he was selling other stuff?
Oh yeah. We were still doing, working on other items, and I figured, the industry, the bicycle industry is getting bigger and bigger. So many people are into exercise, being outdoors. And so when we moved from the old location to the new one, all we took was bicycles, nothing else.
Was that scary, just going into one thing?
For me, it really wasn't. I guess because I was so passionate about the bicycle, and I saw so much growth and so much fun. It is a fun industry to be in. You get to see people come in there, and it improves their health mentally, physically, and I think even spiritually. So I think it's totally cool to have people come in, and just the bicycle business continues to grow.
How do you see it affecting the person spiritually?
Well, I believe honestly, when you're out there and, do you do more road riding, and the road riding you're still dealing with, more traffic and stuff. But there again, we go out there, and when you and I rode last year from the airport, those roads out there, seeing the cows in the fields, seeing all the nature and stuff, I think that's God's second book. And when you're out there doing that, it's amazing. You get the mountain bike and you're in the middle of the woods here. I mean, we are blessed to be, in the Smoky Mountains here. It is spectacular. And you get out there, and it's hard not to stop, take pictures, and just be in awe of the beauty out there.
So it helps to confirm that there's a creator in a way?
In my mind, it does. Definitely.
Well, it sure is an addictive hobby. More so than golf, because I've golfed some, and I never really liked it, but I did it. But cycling can become an addiction, an obsession.
I believe so. I grew up in the industry, but in 1999, I've got real estate and stuff like that, and the stresses sometimes of being in business kind of will get to you. And so one of my friends, I had a very stressful week and got up Saturday morning, and I called my buddy, and I was like, man, this has been a rough week. And he says, get that bicycle you haven't rode and come down to the house. And we went over to Harrison Bay State Park. They've got a 4.5-mile loop, and went out and rode that. And I was about 260 pounds at that point. And when I got done with that 4.5-mile loop, stopping multiple times because I was winded, I was physically exhausted, but mentally it was like blocks had been lifted off my shoulders. And the thing about the bicycle, you get out there and the natural endorphins that are released, and all of it, when you get done with the ride, you just feel so much better.
Top of the morning from Scott's Bicycle Center.
It is incredible. If you could put that in a pill, everybody'd buy it.
Well, I tell people it's my drug of choice.
I was riding at one of these, I forget which ride it was, one of the circuit rides several years back, and it was one of those 64 miles, early Saturday morning deals. Yeah. And there wasn't anybody there that I particularly knew, but there was a guy in front of me. and I don't know where he's from. I hadn't seen him before or since, but he was a really good rider. And, you know, it was one of those mornings where there's just almost frost on your sleeve when it's cold. And we got out about Lead Mine Valley Road, and the sun came up. And he hadn't said a word, and I hadn't said a word the whole route. But the sun came up, and you could just feel it warming up your shoulders. And I said, this is why we do it. And all he did was went, and just kept on riding. So that was the only thing he nodded that. So it was a mutual thought at the time the sun came up. It was a moment.
And Lead Mine's a beautiful ride down there too.
It really is. I usually stay on this end of town because it's closer. It's more hilly here, would you say?
Oh, definitely. We do our, Cleveland area cyclists does rides all over town, but on Thursday night we do a road ride from Black Fox Elementary School. And part of the reason we do it is we have more varied groups, and that end of town is a little flatter. I mean, Tennessee flat is like I tell people, you know, it's still rolling. Yeah. But there's less traffic, and it's just beautiful down there. And that's why the Cleveland Circuit ride starts down there too, because it gives you, there's more people can ride it.
They used to start from the shop. Do you no longer do that?
Basically, with all the traffic going down Georgetown and Harrison Pike, I was afraid someone would get hurt at some point. And as much as it's cool starting at the bike shop, I think it's safer for everyone to start at Black Fox Elementary School.
So it still starts at the same time. So you have to before you could just leave the shop right at 5:25 or 5:45. Oh yeah. But now you got a 15-minute drive down there, I guess.
Exactly. So yeah, we just try to close on Thursday night on time, so those that want to join the ride can be there in time.
They don't have to join the ride, right?
No. At the store, everyone loves bicycles, but everyone's life is at different stages, and some people, have the time to ride, and some people don't. It's one of my personal favorites, and thank the good Lord, my wife loves bicycle riding too, so she's always there with me, and it's fun for us to do the ride together with some phenomenal people.
So there's A, B, and C?
So really we haven't revived the A group. We have the B and the C.
The A's are more independent, aren't they?
The A's pretty much is a no-drop ride. So when you get out there, you better hold on for dear life and have the ability and the legs to be able to go. Where the B tends to be, if someone has a flat tire or something like that, there'll be someone that hangs out and makes sure they're fine. A is closer to a race level.
It's a race.
Yeah. So, and then C is your average rider, and D is your beginner. Right now we're working really hard on getting more ride leaders. We don't have enough ride leaders to make the ride as successful as we'd like it to be. So we're trying to get more to help that, because, a lot of people enjoy getting out there with other people. And as much as the gentleman on your ride didn't talk a lot, if you're riding around me, you're going to have to hear me chatter, because I enjoy talking, pointing out things. That's part of the ride, what makes it so awesome for me.
Now the C group, I don't know if you would call them average riders, because they're a little more maybe than I would classify as an average rider, because it's pretty hard for a person to even on the C team to ride 28, 30 miles.
Yeah, and we have groups. The C ride has been averaging between 14 and 17 miles an hour this year, and 17 miles an hour is bordering close to, usually a B is 18, so it's getting really close to that B rider. And to ride 28, 30 miles at 17 miles an hour is no small feat.
To me, that's not an average rider. That's more of a
sport level rider, maybe.
Well, somebody that's ridden a lot, quite a bit. I mean, you couldn't go out there with no clips and ride that.
You'd have a very difficult time.
You'd have a hard time.
So yeah,
especially on a windy day.
Well, and that's what the Cleveland area cyclists and what we did when we ran the ride by ourselves was, hey, the D is a no-drop group. Your C is usually 14 to 17. Your B is 18 to 20, and your A is anything faster than that. And I guess that is the best way to put it, you know. But you could be a sea rider from somewhere flat and come up here, and these hills will work you out. They're no joke.
That's true. And you know, 15 or 17 mile an hour on a lead mine is different than 17 on this end of town.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. When you and I did that ride,
Yeah.
there was some hills that were extreme,
Yeah.
and they weren't short either. They were
No.
steep and long. So the views from the top were amazing, but you worked for that view.
Yeah, we did 40 Saturday,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
and
Up that area.
yeah, same area. We go that same northeast end.
My goodness.
Well, there's so many roads there. Some you hadn't even hardly been on.
Well, when I rode with you guys, there were some roads I'd never seen before in my life.
It's easier for me to get there than it is to go down to Black Fox, because it could take a few, 15 minutes, I guess.
You had to drive down there. We go the back road, Harrison Pike and stuff, so it doesn't take too long. And like I say, for the group ride that we have on Thursday, you're riding with a half dozen people where I think last week we got rained out, but the week before that, I think we had close to 30 people out there riding on Thursday night. Yeah.
The thing about riding down there, you can ride down with one group and ride back with another group or something, because they're sort of all going not the same route, but a similar way back, so you could catch a group coming back.
Yeah, and we kind of plan that on purpose.
Yeah.
So we tell people, if you start off with a B group and you can't hang and you drop off the back end, the C group will pick you up. And so, especially at the beginning of the year, everyone's trying to get their legs back under them and stuff. And this winter was rainy or cold, one or the other. It was the longest winter I think I've had in a while. And so we have some people that are struggling a little bit, but they'll get their legs back under them. It'll be good soon.
By the middle of June, it doesn't take long to get back in shape on a bike, does it? You can
Not at
set
all.
out all winter and 10 rides or 5 rides and you're back to where you were.
Oh yeah, yep.
But cycling is really fun. It's funny how you can have something on your mind when you take off and you get back and you say, oh, I'll just do that. It seems simpler to solve.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you get your head, balanced out with it.
I think there's something about the blood running through your system, somehow or another, balances something out. I hadn't figured out exactly what it is, but getting the blood pumping seems to be a medicinal thing.
Get those natural endorphins.
It's like a filtering it out or something. I don't know what it is, but it's really a now mountain biking is shorter rides, but more technical maybe.
Well, I tell people a road ride is like doing low weight, high reps. A mountain bike is like doing high weight, low reps. So 10 miles off road is going to be approximately the same amount of work as 20 miles on the road. So, and honestly, the road bike will help build up your endurance. The mountain bike will help build up your power. And so if you do a combination of both, that makes you the ultimate cycling athlete, I believe.
Now, if you go like these guys in the Tour de France, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it?
Yeah, those guys are superhuman.
They're like 23, 24 miles an hour or what on the average?
Oh, they can even do more than that. They can be out there in those pace lines running 30. And I mean, just it's amazing. One of my cousins lives north of London. My mother was English, dad was Irish. And my cousin's husband lives north of London. And he was in one of the London cycling clubs. And he actually had the club record. He did a 25-mile time trial and averaged just over 28 miles an hour. And that's not having anyone to, grab their tire or anything like that. And I was like, my goodness, Ian, that's fast. And he said, the pros are going to run 32, 34 on that same course. And it's hard to believe you can do that without a motor, but these guys, they are absolutely incredible athletes.
A good cyclist can ride a regular bike faster than a guy with a motor, right? With an electric assist.
Well, so it depends on the electric assist. Right now, my wife had knee surgery, so she's on electric assist road bike, and it actually assists up to 28 miles an hour. So she could go 28 miles an hour till the battery dies. And so if you're doing longer than the battery, then yes, but until that battery dies, to average 28 miles an hour, I dare say, I don't know if there's anyone in town could do that. So it's amazing what they've come up with. But the new technology just gets better and better with the electric assist. And like in my wife's situation, we go out and ride, and if she's on her normal bike, she's averaged as high as 18, but typically now she's closer to 14, where now her and I can go out and we can average 18 miles an hour together, and she's right there with me, so we're enjoying each other's company. And her running my pace, we both get a good workout.
I've ridden with her before. She's just as fast as the rest of them, as far as I've seen.
She's a strong rider. She really is. But she, for years, has averaged 3 to 5 rides a week. And, it's all about putting that time in. And you get out there and pedal, and you're going to get stronger the more miles you do.
Will you get stronger riding more or working out? I guess, in other words, if you worked out, would you be faster, or would you be faster just riding?
I think a combination of is good. Working out, stretching, and riding. That would probably be a better question for a trainer than me, but there's no doubt all the elite cyclists in the world have trainers that work them out, and they don't work just on the bicycle. They're working out with weights and, like I say, stretching as well.
Well, it's certainly a good sport, a good pastime. And, you don't have to get out there and try to go as fast as you can. That's, a lot of people think, well, I'm not going to ride because I can't ride as fast as them, but that's not what it's all about. I mean, none of us are going to be in the Tour de France anyway, so what's the point in winning?
Well, I think some people tend to lose focus on what we do it for. And myself personally, my goal is to be as healthy as I can be at 80 years old. And to do that, if you run on the rev limiter of your heart, that's not healthy for it. So if you do good base rides, you're going to be healthier and stronger. And so I think some people do lose focus on that. And you've got to do you, no question. I'm not going to say they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If that's their personality and that's what they have to do, great. My goal is to be the healthiest I can be at 80. And leg strength and mobility are very, very important. I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to balance. And the bicycle improves both those. So the cycling is going to be a big part of what I hope takes me to that age and allows me to still be active.
I notice people that get up in 75 and above, they start getting off balance and losing their balance a little bit. I wonder if that's leg strength.
I think it's a little bit of both. And, once again, when you're on the two wheels, the more you ride your bicycle, the better your balance is going to be. Your leg strength is going to come with it, too. So those two things together, I think the bicycle makes a big difference.
Take Mr. Burns, for instance. The guy that wears the Mirror 92.
I don't know if
He's ridden with us before. He's 92.
92 years old.
92.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
I hadn't seen him in a while.
I have not either. He rode with wingtips on, if I recall right.
Yeah.
He and his wife would ride to the grocery store.
He'd sit low.
Yep. Yeah. I'll have to. His son comes in every once in a while. I have to ask him about him. Yeah. Super nice guy. Yeah. It was awesome to see a guy at that age getting out and pedaling.
Did your dad? Was he really would you say that he was into a lot of other things in Cleveland, or more just the cycling, or just did he stay mostly with just the business, or did he have other hobbies? Did he ride much, or?
No, he did not ride much. As a boy, they rode. They had horses to farm. They had bicycles to ride to church and town. I do not recall them having a car when they were little. Hearing stories of that, should I say, because, obviously I wasn't there. He was your typical Irishman. He got into a little bit of the Irish drinking and fighting, but the good Lord took that out of his life later on. And but he only rode. He had a Raleigh that he rode as a boy that he'd ride to work and ride to town. But he actually never cycled a ton as a hobby. I just remember a half dozen times him riding a bicycle. He was He was a workaholic. He worked a lot.
Let me tell you about Capstar Bank. They're located in Nashville, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Athens, Madisonville, Sweetwater, Etowah, and in Cleveland at 950 25th Street and 3855 North Ocoee Street. I've used them. I like them. Give them a try. They're no problem.
Well, when this picture was taken right here, he's loaded down with bicycles.
Oh yeah, now that's in the old store, and of course that's back before mountain bikes,
You get that?
and so
You get that.
and
He
actually,
was selling bicycles then. How many is there? Golly.
I would bet, he had a 1,500 square foot showroom there, and I would bet he had close to 100 bikes on the floor there.
He was a happy guy, wasn't he?
He was pretty much very jovial, happy, always had a good Irish tale. If you hung out long enough, you'd hear one or two Irish jokes. He definitely, and I'll tell you, in my life, I have not met many people that loved people more than him.
Just people in general. Just
Just people in
no
general.
matter the situation.
No, almost everyone he met, he absolutely loved spending time, getting to know them. He had the memory of an elephant. He'd remember your name, where you worked, your family, stuff like that. Just amazing. But he was truly passionate about that.
So he was more into the customer relationship maybe than anything.
Oh, definitely. Yep, he'd get up there and talk to people, and it's so funny. To this day, people come by the store and tell me stories about him and things interactions they had and stuff, and just a lot of positive.
Was his real name Scott, or was it?
Yep, Scott. Our last name's Coulter, but with him being one of 10, none of them had middle names. They just had one name.
Is that right?
Yep.
Was that a common thing in Ireland?
I haven't asked. I'll have to ask my cousin that. I know in that family, like I say, with 10 kids, they all just had a first name and a last name. That was
I've
it.
never heard of that.
Yeah, that was how they were. So I'll ask my cousin that next time I'm talking to him.
Now, what was you say he did he get more religious as time went on?
Well, I mean, pretty much at 15, he was an alcoholic, smoking 60 cigarettes a day.
I mean, certified alcoholic or just?
Yeah, he'd be drunk in a ditch 3 days at a time, stuff like that. And so, yeah, he was, I don't know if they certified anyone in those days. He was in Ireland. You drank and you fought. That was part of life. And my granny, she was a prayer warrior, and she spent 3 hours a day in prayer most of the time. And there was an American evangelist went to the little village there and put on a tent campaign. And when Dad was 20, he gave his heart to the Lord. And at that point, he gave up smoking, drinking, and never had a desire to do it again. God took it completely out of his life. And that's when he left Ireland, because all his friends back home were into that lifestyle. So he moved to England to start a new life. And so
How did he meet your mother if she was from England?
Yep, so she was born north of London, and Dad's working at Vauxhall, and then him and his brother George started a factory building batteries. So they build batteries on the side. Well, Dad had welders and torches and stuff like that, and my mother's little brother Paul started stopping, and he was a lot like David too, very sociable and Dad. And Paul started talking to him, and next thing you knew, he had Dad at the house helping him work on cars and stuff. And so Dad's over there working on him, and my mother would bring, of course, the English drink tea. So Mom would bring the tea out to them, and so they got to know each other that way.
How has she passed away now?
My mom died in 1988 at 46 years old, yeah. So both my parents died of colon cancer, her in 88, and then Dad in 2006. So in the store, we're passionate about helping stuff that raises funds for cancer. Unfortunately, my brother David lost his lovely wife to cancer
Remember
last
that.
year too.
That's not been that long ago.
No. It's a tough thing. It's hard for him, and it's hard for me as a brother to watch him going through it. It's difficult.
Boy, I remember when she was going through that, I just hated that for him.
Yeah, she was a tough girl and fought hard to the end. That's for sure.
So let me ask you this. What's it, working at a bicycle shop, it seems like the ultimate job.
I think so. You know, the bicycle industry doesn't have a lot of money in it, but money doesn't bring happiness. It does have a lot of fulfillment. You build relationships with people. The product you sell improves their lives. And so it's really cool to be able to be a part of that. And then we have customers that have been coming in we've been, in Cleveland now 45 years. Mm-hmm. And so we're, third generation of people coming in, and you'll have someone come in and they're talking to me about how they bought their first bicycle from Dad back in, the early 80s and stuff like that. And it's really neat to be able to work with people like that.
What was it called before you changed the name?
Well, actually, I didn't change the name. It's been Scott's Bike Shop.
Even when he was selling stoves?
Yep. It was Scott's Bicycle and More Center at that time. So, yeah, we changed it from that to just Scott's Bicycle Center, since we just do the bicycles. So, and the first one, we started in, Stamford, Connecticut. It was the first Scott's Bike Shop that Dad started in 1964.
Now, why would you want to go into that instead of something else? Is it a business mind, or is it a...
I think...
Or did somebody just have to take over?
Dad came over here, and the people that sponsored him did construction. So he started construction and decided that... he's funny. He said, I worked at GM, or Vauxhall, and he was quality control. He said the heaviest thing I'd picked up for years was a pencil. And then he comes over here and he's laying block, putting down tarmac, stuff like that. And he's like, man. So he got a job working at a bike shop. And I think that's what kind of got him going, is getting the job in the bike shop. He was aware of working on bikes because when they were kids, they had to work on their own. And so he got a job working in the bike shop, and he had that for almost a year. He and Mom got lawnmowers and stuff and cut yards and stuff and saved up $2,400 and started his first very own bike shop in 1964. And I think he just enjoyed that industry.
Do you think he saw it coming to what it is today?
I don't think he ever would have imagined it got as big as it is today. I mean, cycling is just exploded.
When do you think it really took off? And what do you think that you think? You think it was that movie? What was that movie where the guy rode the bicycle and taped his feet to the pedal? Remember that?
I don't know. American Flyer was the first bicycle movie I saw years ago, but I don't know if that was the one. American Flyer.
Maybe it was Lance Armstrong.
Could have been him. Lance helped definitely make the market grow. The different styles of bicycles. You've got your greenway bicycles, you've got your mountain bikes, you've got your road bikes, you've got electric assist in all those categories. So people that are 80 and 85 years old can still get out there and ride these hills with a smile on their face. But I think also, running and stuff is a little more difficult on the knees and stuff. So as you get older, riding the bicycle just is a lot easier on the body and so much fun.
And you get to coast and look, whereas if you're running, you're just
running.
It's more constant, I think.
Yeah, and that's nothing against running. Running is good too, but the bicycle riding is my choice.
Do you think they'll ever come up with something besides air in the tires? I've seen these things online where it's just all rubber but no air. Because you can be out on the ride and get a flat tire and it's just miserable.
Yeah, they have foam inserts and stuff for mountain bikes. There's still nothing like the quality of the ride of a pneumatic tire. I'll tell you what, I hesitate to say, because, this bicycle that we have sitting here has electronic shifting, it has a battery in it. You you don't have any cables. You've got full hydraulic disc brakes. Wireless shifting on bikes nowadays, the sky's the limit. I mean, every year that goes by, they come up with something that just makes you scratch your head and say, my goodness, what's next?
Yeah, how can they come up with something? I mean, you look at that bike right there and you think, besides putting a motor on it, what could they come up with that would make it better?
Yeah, and yet
Now,
someone in a couple of years will come up with something that is like, well, how did we live without that?
How much would that bike cost?
That one right there is right around 10,000.
Does that come with pedals?
No. And the reason being is because everyone wants a different style pedal.
Well, say you want clips, or you're going to have clips. They still want different types,
Oh yeah, there's different brands.
or some better than others.
All of them are going to have their pros and cons. So that bicycle right there has Shimano Durace components, and I'm a Shimano pedal fan. I think they've done a very good job of a pedal that works well, that's very durable and not too expensive. So that's my pedal of choice. But there's a ton of other brands that you can run.
What do I have on mine?
I think you've got Shimano on yours, don't you?
Yeah, but I think I've got SRAM red gearing.
Yep, you've got the SRAM. So you've got the wireless
Yeah.
that has a battery in the shifter and a battery in, and so there's not even any wires or anything. It's amazing what it does, and the shift quality is not. It's amazing, isn't
A
it?
lot better. It takes me some getting used to. It's easier now that I'm used to it, but it took some getting used to the left. In fact, some hills now, I think I'm on my old bike and I'll shift it wrong.
Yep.
But I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, pretty soon it'll be opposite. If you ever get back on your old bike, you'll be like, how on earth do I shift
yeah.
this?
Well, see, I like it better. The jury was out for a while with the electronic shifting, but I don't think there's a big advantage to speed. It's just you don't have that. Every now and then the chain would come off on the other, or shift wrong. But I don't do that on this new one.
One, you don't get the cable drag and cable housing drag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once you get that adjusted right, unless you crash the bike, it shifts perfect all the time.
My battery went out the other day and I got off and I thought, oh my goodness, I couldn't shift. And it just dawned on me, and I put the front battery in the back and the back in the front, and I just couldn't shift my big ring, but that was okay.
Yep. Well, my buddy and his wife were riding with us 2 weeks ago, and he forgot to charge his wife's battery. So the only thing worse than your battery being dead is your wife's battery being dead.
I bet, yeah.
She got a live battery real quick and was pedaling and changing gears.
And he wasn't, right?
Actually, crazy thing, I was carrying a spare battery. So I saved the day on that one. I don't know why I was that lucky.
Just
but,
happened to have one?
Just happened to have one. Well, I've got a bike with the wireless shifting like yours, and I had done a ride and took a spare battery with me, and just forgot to take it back out of my backpack that I wear when I'm riding, and because it was on a mountain bike. And so it was like, whew, okay. So saved his day because he saved her day.
Not changing the subject, but just think about this. Unless that guy, when your dad was in Connecticut, had not said, you ought to try Cleveland, Tennessee, you wouldn't be sitting here today.
That's exactly right. I think about that a lot.
What are the odds of that? And was that God's doing?
I wouldn't be surprised. And I will say this, I myself am very, very thankful. I love visiting Florida. Got a lot of wonderful things, but boy, do I love our mountains. I love our change of seasons. And once again, the people here, like Dad said, are just phenomenal, amazing people. Cleveland, Tennessee was very good to my father and very good to me. And I believe you'd probably agree with that one, Dee. Cleveland, Tennessee has been good to you too.
It's I don't know of anywhere else. I don't know if it's because I was raised here. Probably because I was raised here, but you've seen other places. What was that guy in Connecticut? What was his name? Was he from here, or how did he know about Cleveland?
I do not know. Howard Beeman was his name, and his wife Kay still lives right down the road. He passed away a little bit before Dad, but he was a builder in Connecticut and actually did some building down here. And I don't know. I need to ask Kay. She told me a little bit the other day, but I don't know how they tripped across Cleveland, but for some reason they did. And, Dad and him were friends. And so he just wanted to share with a friend how awesome Cleveland was.
And even had to be in the conversation to even bring it up.
Yep. So it's strange.
That is strange. You get that, blow your mind if you get to thinking about it.
Yeah, because out of all the places in the world, Dad,
The guy even had to be there to mention that to your dad.
Yeah, and he was doing an addition on our house, so Dad did spend a fair amount of time with him as he did that. Our house was quite old and only had one bedroom in it when we bought it. We had 5 of us in there with one bedroom, one bathroom. But
Would you have bunk beds or something, or just pallets?
I think we were just stacked everywhere. So it must have come up in conversation with that. Well, and I'd say they actually they had land here from before that, from I think earlier in the 70s, up here on North Lee Highway.
Well, the name sounds familiar, Beeman.
Beeman, yep, super nice guy, super nice guy.
Was your dad? Did y'all go to church there?
Yeah, yep. In Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mother, Dad was Elam, which is like Church of God, is what he became. But my mother was a Sabbath keeper, and so we pretty much all went to Seventh Adventist Church in Connecticut, and then here on Bowman Hills here. So got a wonderful church family there.
So he sort of went with her religious beliefs on the Sabbath then.
He did, yes.
Do you think it's a disadvantage to not being open on this? To be in to have a bike shop and not being open on Saturdays is like having a boat storage place but not open on Saturdays or something. But you've made it work.
We have, yeah. Definitely people say, it's unusual, but it's worked. God's blessed.
And you're open Sundays.
Yeah, we're open Sunday between the church services, 1 to 4. So, the people between going to church in the morning and the evening can come by and get the bike accessories they need on the weekend.
Do you do any bike repair on Sundays, or is that pretty much just for people coming, for customers coming and going and stuff?
Pretty much we'll do flat tires, small things on Sunday. But one thing we found with bigger repairs, if you rush them, you tend to make more mistakes. And so we tend to like people leaving a bicycle, and that way we have a double check on every repair where the mechanic does it and another mechanic goes over his repair, making sure it's right, just trying to limit mistakes. We're all human and can make mistakes,
Sure.
But we want to limit them. And so one thing we found is when we tried doing repairs on Sunday, you'd end up with more mistakes, and we don't want to do that. So we like people to leave them, and we'll get to them, Monday or Tuesday, do a double check and make sure everything's ready and running perfectly.
So do you have people working on bikes like a mechanic shop would have people working on cars?
Exactly, yep.
So how many bike repairs will you do tomorrow? 5 or 20?
I would say probably average 5 to 8 repairs a day. That's would be a guess. Of course, it's going to depend on the time of year. In the summer,
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot more. In the winter, a lot less. But I bet it averages, say 5 to 10 a day anyways.
Are some just tune-ups?
Some are tune-ups, some are overhauls, some are just a flat tire or a derailleur cable or brake cable. So from simple $20 repair to a lot more. Especially on the mountain bikes, you get a full suspension mountain bike, and it can get very complex, overhauling the suspension, making sure your fluid levels are right, putting new bearings in.
Oh, so the mountain bikes have fluid in them?
Oh, yeah, your
Would be another
suspension
thing
have
you'd have
fluids.
to check, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, yep. So, well, people don't check them. You have the suspension service typically once a year, and at that point you put new seals and oil in them to make sure they're kind of like changing the oil in your car.
I found it's best just to take it in about twice a year and say, check it all out.
That way you make sure you have less
Yeah.
problems. And, when you go out to ride, you don't want to have any mechanical if you don't have to. If you can limit that, it makes it where you have more fun out there riding.
If you get out 10 miles out and you have a flat, you'd think somebody would drive by and pick you up, but that's not very, very likely. I don't know if I guess people are in a hurry, or maybe they're afraid you'll scratch their truck, or afraid you're sweaty or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a little tool pouch. So I have the ability to fix chains or flats on the ride. And so a lot of times you can save people having to worry about getting a ride. And it's something I suggest people learn how to do those different things, because it can keep you from walking a ways or trying to hitchhike.
Yeah. And you don't know who's going to pick you up. They may be crazier than you are.
They may try taking your bicycle.
Do you think that, would you sell 10 bikes a week?
Yeah, it would be, it'd be close to that.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a little town. But, this town continues to grow and grow, and we have customers that come from Chattanooga. We had a guy from down in Dalton today, Knoxville. We're really blessed. We reach out quite far where people come to drive to do business with us.
Now, you stick pretty much with Trek.
Selling bicycles brand new. We sell Trek and we sell Pivot, which Pivot is a boutique brand, mostly mountain bikes and gravel bikes. But we've been a Trek dealer since 1984. It's a family-owned company, and we're extremely happy with the customer service, the quality of goods, the value. They've just done a very, very good job for us.
So you have like the franchise here or something like that, or just how do you?
I guess you could say that. We started in 1984 with Trek, and so Trek didn't have a lot of dealers. Trek is very respectful in that if they decide they want to put a store in, and when they decide to open one in Chattanooga, they talk to me about it. They didn't just say, hey, we're opening a store. They said, are you interested in opening a store there? And I decided to just stick with one location, like being there. But they, I don't know what area they would protect me from, but they have been very, very good to me and communicate well with us.
Now, they started about what year did they start?
1976.
On the Courthouse Square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland-Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
Yes, not that old at all.
Does any of the Tour de France people ride Treks?
Oh yeah, Trek has. They usually sponsor a team that's in the Tour. Not usually, they always do. So, but they're one of the sponsors of a team. I think it's Segafredo right now, which I have no idea what they do in Europe, but it's some large company, I'm sure, over there.
Well, Tour de France is what, July the 4th, something like that, 3rd?
Yep, through the end of the month.
I know it's always about the time tomatoes come out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, same exact week.
That's cool. It is a neat thing to watch. I would love to go see it in person one day.
Yeah.
And a bunch of incredible athletes.
Now, you also ride motorcycles, right? Or did?
I
Didn't
do.
you have the bad wreck?
In 2009, I was run over on Old Boatwater Road on a Yamaha that I had. And so I haven't got back on a street bike. I'm riding gravel and in the woods. So my first love is really the woods. I love trails. I love just being out in the middle of nowhere.
Now, tell me about the motorcycle wreck. You were out for a while, right?
Yeah, so I was doing 55, 60 miles an hour and got hit by a Ford Expedition. And I got airlifted to Erlanger, had emergency surgery.
You remember the crash, or what do you remember?
Yeah, actually, I don't think I was ever unconscious. I remember seeing the vehicle coming at me. He turned into my lane and hit me on the side. And so I was thrown off the front of the motorcycle into the ditch, landed on a barbed wire fence. At 55, 60 miles an hour to have that happen, I don't know why God saved my life, but for some reason he did. But I was laying in the ditch there, and the gentleman that hit me, I think he was calling 911, walking towards me saying, I never saw you, I never saw you. And so if I was out, it was a very, very short period of time, pretty much just the small, short flight. And then they got me in an ambulance. And
Were you thinking, is anything broke? Can I feel my legs? That sort of thing?
You know, it's funny. So I'm laying there in the ditch, and I take the helmet off, which they say was wrong to do, but you know, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
I was never instructed in what to do if I was ran over.
Right.
And so I took the helmet off, and everything's moving around, and my feet are moving and stuff. And so my left boot, the bumper of this vehicle, well, it hit the motorcycle so hard it sheared the tow hook off the four-wheel drive frame on the truck. And so my left foot was smashed. And so the leather boot was ripped from top to bottom, just ripped it like it was not even there. And then my foot was mashed like, I don't know if you remember Gallagher where he'd smash watermelons. That's what my foot looked like. It crushed the talus. And so, so I took the boot off, which was fairly easy, and blood was running out of my sock. And I decided at that point I did not want to see anymore. So I just stopped there. And the ambulance got there very quickly, and they stabilized me, got me in the ambulance, and then the helicopter got there and flew me down to Erlanger. And I had emergency surgery that day, spent 5 months in a wheelchair.
Golly.
And 15 months of physical therapy.
You could not walk that 5 months?
No, it was non-weight bearing for 5 months. So I was on crutches some as well as a wheelchair, but because of all the injury from the accident, it was very painful. And I still don't have a heel pad on my left foot anymore. So walking, another reason why I can't run if I wanted to, because of the pain. So where the bicycle riding, I don't have weight on the heel where there's no pad, so I can ride, for hours on end with, no discomfort.
How'd you handle the shop while you was out?
Fortunately, I have a good team, and my brother stepped up to the plate and worked very hard to keep things going while I was out of there. As time proceeded, I was able to sit there but not do much work, and definitely, getting out on the sales floor and talking to people, you can't really stand, and so it was kind of difficult.
Boy, was that a tough time in your life?
It was very tough. And I'll be honest, it was tough physically, but mentally it was even tougher because I was used to always taking care of myself. And all of a sudden I've got to rely on everyone around me to help me with everything there is. I had an external fixator on my leg till all the swelling went down. So it was, I couldn't tell you how long, but it was a long time. With all the wounds open and stuff like that, and I couldn't get in the shower, and I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, it was terrible. So it was mentally very tough time.
I can just imagine. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, thankful I've got that behind me. I hope I never have to go through anything like that again.
Yeah. Does it make you skittish riding on the road now a little bit?
It's almost in a car more than anything, just simply because you're going down the road and all of a sudden you see people trying to pull in front of you and stuff like that. The bicycle, you're moving a slower rate of speed. I am very, very, I always want to make sure I've got headlight and tail light, daytime running lights, something that Trek does a really good job of to keep us safer so that way people see you coming and going. So I run the brightest lights I can get and run them on high every time I'm on the bicycle.
No matter if it weighs more or not, right?
Exactly. A little bit of weight for safety, sign me up.
Tell me about your dad. How old was he in this picture, would you say?
Well, so that picture, I would guess, was...
He'd be younger than us, right, at that point?
Yeah, that would be probably close to 1980. And he was born in 35.
Even the bikes there, they all got cable wires and everything.
Oh, yeah, and they're the old style road bikes. Yeah.
Carbon wheels, were they here then?
Not at all. No, these were all steel bikes. Most of them, They had started making them in Japan at that point, but you know, you didn't have, the Chinese had started building bikes at that point. Some of the bikes we were selling back then, well, we were selling Cannondale, they were American made. We were selling some Raleighs that were made in England. We actually opened the store Dad got a container load of Raleighs. So interesting, a little story. So we moved down here, build the building. Bob Gass built the building for $10 a square foot. If that doesn't tell you how long ago it was.
It's probably high then.
And so Thanksgiving Day, we got a container load of bikes there. And Thanksgiving Day, all 5 of us kids, Mom and Dad, spent the day building bikes, getting ready to open the day after Thanksgiving. And Dad was generous and took us all to the Waffle House for Thanksgiving supper.
The one right next door.
The one right next door, yep. Yeah.
I guess if you put that many bikes together, you know how to put a bike together.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't remember not knowing how to put bikes together. I've got pictures of me 18 months old there in the bike shop working with Dad. Although I don't think I was real productive at 18 months old.
Probably trying.
Oh yeah.
Do you think the aluminum bike, the carbon is made just worlds of difference, or could you take a aluminum frame and make it work with carbon wheels and that stuff? Or what is? In other words, you don't get as much flex with aluminum, right?
The aluminum's very stiff.
Yeah.
Where the carbon, you can have it where it's stiff side to side, but gives a really nice ride up and down. And that's the unique thing about carbon fiber is you can tune the ride for whatever you want, and yet keep it light. So at this point, I think carbon is one of the most amazing materials to build a bicycle out of.
What can they come up with next? But they've probably already got it in the works for 2 years from now. Something different.
From what I understand, they're 2 to 3 years ahead of what we're seeing.
What could it be?
They're not going to let us know till 2 or 3 years.
If we did, we wouldn't buy the ones next year for that.
Exactly.
You know, when I bought mine, it was like, it was 280-day ordering time.
Lead time.
So that was due to COVID and the supply chain and all that stuff.
They couldn't produce enough bikes. There was some of them took us over a year to get the bicycle for the customer, which is unheard of. I've never seen that before in history.
Isn't it something that people would wait? And they did, didn't they?
Oh yeah, yep. And the ones that waited are happy they did. They love it. I mean, years waiting that long, are you happy you did it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, in fact, it came better when I got it because I was able to, finish the winter on my old bike and that sort of stuff.
Keep this one for pretty days.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give my old one to my youngest. He rides some, but I don't know what they'll come up with next. But it may be that they come with small assist motors, and that this riding bicycles with a lot of effort may just be a dying thing. It may be just enough assist to where it's almost a real slow motorcycle type thing.
I think there's always going to be a market for both. The assist bikes, definitely, that's the largest growing part of our market right now because it does allow people to do things that they wouldn't be able to do before. They call it a ride extender. You go out there and you can only ride 5-10 miles. Now with the electric assist, you can ride 15 miles and enjoy the experience for that much longer. And so that is the largest growing category, and I think it will be continuing into the future growing like that. If Europe is any sign, the electric assist bikes over there are all over the place.
You know, that was similar to the moped craze. Remember that when everybody would drive the mopeds? That was what, like between a electric assist and a motorcycle, right? The moped.
Had pedals and a motor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about it having pedals. It did have pedals, didn't it?
Yeah, because you'd have to start it with the pedals and then away she'd go. The difference is those right there would go by themselves, where these bikes don't have a throttle. You have to continue pedaling, and it just multiplies the input of power you put in. So it makes sure that you're still out there pedaling and getting exercise at a certain level. My wife, when we go out and ride, I tell her, okay, keep your heart rate between 120 and 130. So keeping our heart rate base, which is one of the healthiest zones to be in. And so she just uses enough electric assist to be able to ride with me and keep it in that range, which is a very healthy thing to do.
What about going up a hill? Will they go up a hill on their own, or you still have to pedal?
Still got to pedal. Yep. You got to put in X amount for it to give you back some.
So you could be on an electric bike going up a hill, and if you're not helping, you might not make it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
What would you say is the toughest hill besides Chilhowie and Cleveland? Would you say Beeler Ridge, maybe?
I don't know. You know, there's that one's a tough one. You know, they have the wall over there towards Owl Hollow that's very short, but my goodness, it's straight up. So, you know, it just depends.
I think Beeler Ridge is tougher than the wall.
I think it's harder.
Yeah, I think
it's
it is.
longer. So it makes you work harder.
It's a lot steeper. I mean, it's just like that for a few. And there's dogs on the road too, so you got to watch for the dogs and the hill.
Incentive to make sure you keep your speed up going up the hill. Yeah, that's one of those things. You know, you use that small gear and climb hard, and it makes you stronger.
I remember the first time I did Chilhowie, I finally got to the top, and I just got to that rest stop, that overlook, you know, and I just crossed over the asphalt where the asphalt is from the road, and the asphalt for the rest stop.
The pull off thing.
And I just fell over on the bike, and I started throwing up. And a load of cheerleaders came to take a picture over and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't even get up. It was embarrassing.
So they added to their picture portfolio.
Well, I mean, I just couldn't do nothing. I was just trying to, you know, throw up. What makes you want to throw up when you ride hard like that? It's got something to do with the
exertion, just overexerted.
Do you think that how important do you think eating is to before you're riding or while you're riding?
Nutrition's important. I can't eat a lot before a ride, but everyone's a little bit different depending on your metabolism and the way your body.
I'm better off not to eat.
Yeah, I better not eat 3 hours before the ride, or I'm not going to feel good.
I'm about 5 hours.
Really?
I don't know why that is, but
everyone's a little bit different. Now, if you're doing a long ride, you need to make sure you have the proper nutrition that you're consuming every 30 minutes to an hour, but it's not going to be a hamburger or anything.
No, I take Fig Newtons.
There you go.
They're about the right size.
And hey, everyone finds the thing that feeds them best and works with their body.
It's just a trial and error. But if you go through, if you've ever seen these riders, they'll ride, you know, pretty consistently for a month or so. The weight just melts off of them. I mean, they can't eat enough to keep the weight on.
See, I need to do more of that. You obviously are riding more than me because my weight's not melting off.
We'll just think if you weren't riding.
Yeah.
Of course, you ride 3 days a week.
Typically, that would probably be about what it is a year. 3 days a week is what I average. I'd like to get more than that. I enjoy my bicycle rides, but sometimes working gets in the way.
What about the accessories? You got gloves, hats, like the water bottle. Is that the new one?
Yeah, this is a brand new one. And of course, being Irish, we had to have the leprechaun on there. So it's so funny. We've got the Irish, the guy here, and we had someone come in the store and say, you know, what's with it? Just with a guy. We got to have a girl too.
Oh, you added a girl?
So we've added a girl. So we have the girl leprechaun on one side and the guy on the other. So, you know, equal opportunity. And this is one of the new water bottles. It's made from recycled product. and they've increased the quality of the bite valve so it doesn't leak and stuff like that. All sorts of crazy stuff. It's amazing what they do. And definitely hydration is huge. I typically have one with regular water, one with water with electrolytes.
What kind of electrolytes you put in it?
I'm using e-fuel most of the time right now. I really like that product.
It's just a powder you put in it?
Yep. But once again, it's like the food thing. You find something that works with you, and that's what you need to stick with.
You know what I found out about a water bottle? If you've had it a long time, it's almost like they start squishing or getting a little more fat. I guess maybe it's just the weight or something, and they get harder to take out of the cage. You ever notice that?
I bet it's because
Especially
it's
those
scratched, more friction.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and so water bottles are very important. Of course, I won't ride without my helmet. Got to have my helmet. And you and I both ride with clip shoes like we talked about earlier. Contact points are very, very important. So padded shorts, using the best quality padding makes for a lot more comfortable ride.
And gloves with pads, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, and the padding helps. And also when you start sweating, your hands don't slip off.
Yeah.
And then safety glasses. I definitely, whether you wear prescription or whether you wear safety glasses, something to keep your eyes safe is important. And the list can go on as you get into riding more and more. The toolkit, like I was talking about earlier, is important to have. And that way, when you're out there, if you have a mechanical, you can take care of it. Of course, the cell phone is the ultimate tool because all you got to do is call and say, help.
And sunscreen's important.
You're dead on. And that's something I hadn't thought about. And I saw in your cycling room, you've got that there. And
I've got 12 cans.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely a very important thing because we don't want to burn out there. And Lord knows my lily white skin burns easy.
In the winter, if you spray sunscreen on your face, it'll keep you warm.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a thin coat on your face. It helps keep but if you wear it a lot in the summer, it can make you sweat a little more.
That makes sense.
And especially if sweat gets in your eyes and you got the sunscreen in it, it'll burn a little bit.
Yeah, that one downside.
Yeah, they say most men get cancer right here and on top of the ear because they're sitting in the car and the sun hits there and here. So if you ever put sun in the mornings, you got to put some right here and right here.
And what's funny is they say in America it's on the left side. You go to England, it's on the right side because they're driving on the other side of the car. Funny stuff.
Now let me ask you this: do you do anything else? You're somewhat of an avid camper, right?
Well, I don't camp as much as I'd like to, but I do love camping. And I've got a toy hauler camper, so that way I can haul my bicycles or motorcycles with me when I go. And one of my favorite campgrounds is up in, it's in Hiawassee, Georgia, actually, in the mountains there, the Hiawassee Fairgrounds. Just beautiful on Lake Chattooga. It is spectacular.
How long does it take to get there?
About 2 hours. So that is a beautiful spot. And I go to Michigan every year and go up there and ride and camp. And boy, if you ever want an incredible outdoor experience, Michigan, especially when you get up in the UP, it's like stepping back a few years. It is gorgeous up there.
You've got a good life. You know what?
God's blessed, no doubt.
You got a good job, you got a good wife, you got a good family, and you do hobbies, you camp. You have more fun than I do.
Well, I don't know, just a little different here and there, but it is definitely, as you lose your parents early, I think it makes you try to embrace the years that you have here because they're short.
What year did he die?
Dad died in 2006.
It's not really been that right before the bad economy.
Yep, it's over 17 years
Did he
now.
help you there after you took over?
Oh yeah, he was there every day he was so sick because the cancer got him pretty bad. But he would drive in there or have his wife bring him there so he could hang out and talk to people. We've got a couch with shamrocks on it and stuff for him.
My wife really liked him.
I'm proud of my dad. I feel blessed to have him.
What would you say the one thing is he's taught you? if you could pinpoint one thing?
You know, I'm going to say
Maybe
probably
not by telling you, but just by his example.
work ethic. And when I say work ethic, working hard, but also never taking advantage of anyone, never taking a nickel that isn't yours. He taught me to work hard for everything. And my father was a very ethical businessman. And he was a hard worker, but also ethical. And I believe that's one of the greatest lessons he ever taught me.
And that was not by telling you, just by his example.
Exactly. He always told me, he said, sell like you want to be sold to, treat people like you want to be treated, which is pretty much the golden rule. So, you know, and there was always an Irish saying, or this, that, and the other, and a lot of things. But he definitely did it by example. And I was my dad's shadow from a young boy.
Being the oldest too, right?
Yeah, being the oldest, I pretty much was there following him all the time and learning from him. When I was 8 years old, I'd saved up enough money. I saved $100 when I was 8. And what I do with that $100, I went out and I bought a tool set, a Craftsman tool set, because I had seen my dad earn a living with his tools. And that was just, you know, just following his example. It was one of those things I just watched him and tried to mimic a lot of things he did.
Well, he was a great guy. I think we need to dedicate this episode to your dad, Scott Coulter.
I would love that. I guarantee it. Thank you so much for the invite, Dee. I've enjoyed it.
Was that great or not?